So for our main assignment this week, it is a track and field day milestone for unit 5.8. So we're going to read the first part and then we're going to go over each question and how you would approach it. So the first part says, in order to prepare for next month's track and field race, students ran 4 days last week. This table shows the distance each person ran during the 4 days. So if you can see here, this shows day 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Tomas, Jackie, Joseph, and Maylee. It says, use the chart to answer these questions. How far did each person run during the 4 days last week? So we want to add up how much they've ran each day for each person and then compare it across the different people. So in order to add them though, they have to be the same unit because it just won't make sense. It's like saying if you had 1 centimeter and 1 meter, you can't say that you have 2 meters. They're very different units. So we have to convert them. So if we look here to our chart, we see that the units are either in kilometers or in meters. So it should be a relatively easy conversion, and you can convert it to either kilometers or meters. So Tomas, if we look at day 1, he ran 6.5 kilometers. So I'm going to take that 6.5 kilometers, and I'm going to leave it as is because I want to convert everything to kilometers. The next one says 3,750 meters. I know that 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. So if I have 3,750 meters, that means I multiplied this by 3.75. So I'm going to multiply this by 3.75. So that means that this is equivalent to 3.75 kilometers, or 3.75 kilometers. So this is our first day, this is our second day. And I can write this 6.5 as 6.5. The third day is 5.15 kilometers, so we're just going to keep that. And then the fourth day, again, we have to convert. So if we have 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters, and we have 2,500 meters or 2,500 meters, that means we multiplied by 2.5. So that means this equals 2.5 kilometers. So I'm going to add these 4 parts up. So I have, let me just erase some of this. We have 6.5, 2.5, 3.75, and 5.15. And remember, we don't forget our rules from previous units. So when you're adding decimals, you want to make sure that the decimal lines up and that if there's any gaps that you have placeholder zeros. So this equals 5 plus 5 is 10. I'm going to put 10. Then 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 5 is 11, plus 7 is 18, plus 1 is 19. And then I have 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 2 is 9, plus 3 is 12, plus 5 is 17. So Tomas ran 17.9 kilometers, 17.9 kilometers. So if I was doing this, I would make them kilometers for each of them, but you can pick meters and then have meters for each person. So that's how you would approach the first question. So then the second question says, which runner ran the longest? So again, based on your conversions, you should have the same unit. So whether you pick kilometers or meters, you can compare them and see who ran the longest. The third question says, which runner ran the shortest distance in one day? How long was that run? So again, you look at the shortest distance between each day and then pick that person. Then it says, Sarita ran farther than 2 of the people in the table and slower than the others. She ran the same distance each day. How far could Sarita have run each day? So again, once you have all your numbers for how long they ran, then you're going to figure out Sarita ran farther than 2 of them and slower than the others. So essentially, she would be right in the middle. So again, based on the numbers you find, you can answer this one. The part 2 is about long jump. So it says, here are the results from last year's long jump competition. It says there's Cindy, Tyrette, Nina, and Monique, and this is how far they jumped. So it says, use the chart to solve these problems. Put the students in order from longest to smallest jump. Again, when we're comparing people, we want to make sure all the units are the same. So we have a few different units here. We have yards, feet, and inches. From last week's unit, we should know that 1 foot equals 12 inches and 1 yard equals 3 feet. So this information should kind of help us. So I'll give you an example of if I wanted to make, and again, you can convert everyone to inches, you can convert them all to yards, you can convert them to feet. It's really up to you. Let's say we were trying to convert Cindy to purely inches. So she has 2 yards, 1 foot, and 3 inches. So this one is already good. 1 foot, again, is 12 inches. So I'm going to put 12 here. And then 2 yards. So I know that 2 yards, each yard is 3 feet, and each foot is 12 inches. So 3 feet means that this is 36 inches, 3 times 12. This is also 36 inches. So if I add 36 and 36, I get 72 inches. So if I add all of these up, I have 72 plus 12 plus 3. That means that she jumped 72 plus 12 equals 84. And then we add our 3. So she jumped 87 inches. And again, depending on the unit you pick, that might look different, but they are equivalent. So you pick the unit that you're going to use and then convert all of these to that unit. Then it says, what was the difference between the longest and shortest jump? So again, we know that difference means subtraction. And so once you figure out question 5, you should be able to do question 6. And then the last question says, Drew jumped farther than 4 students above, but less than 7 feet, 7 inches. How far could he have jumped? So again, once you have all your responses, he jumped farther than 4 of the students. And again, there were only 4 students. So that means that the highest person right here, whoever it is, then we have 7 feet, 7 inches. And Drew jumped somewhere in between the highest person and 7 feet, 7 inches. So this part you would again figure out using question 5.